Hi, my name is Denise Appleby, and I'm going to give you my top 5 RMD rules in less than 5 minutes. Let's go. Now, we're doing this because it's RMD season, right? And so we know that the questions are going to be coming, and there are a ton of RMD rules, but we only have time for 5 because it has to be done in what? Less than 5 minutes. The first one is you got to know the applicable RMD ages. Secure Act 2.0 introduced a new RMD schedule. Before 2023, your RMD starting age would have been age 72. And before 2020, it was 70 and a half. But now we have a whole new schedule, and that's displayed on the screen right here. So ask your client their date of birth, so that you can tell them whether or not they need to begin RMDs. Also, remember, if they have assets in an employer-sponsored retirement plan and they're still employed by the plan sponsor, if the terms of the plan allow, they can defer starting RMDs past the regular RMD age that's on the screen until retirement. Rule number 2, know when a distribution qualifies to be an RMD. Not all distributions goes towards satisfying an RMD. For instance, a return of excess distribution does not count towards an RMD. If you want the full list of distributions that do not count as an RMD, then you can take my RMD class. Rule number 3, know how to calculate RMDs, especially for IRAs. We know that IRA custodians must send out an RMD notice to IRA owners who are supposed to take an RMD for the year. And the RMD notice must include the calculated RMD amount or an offer to calculate the RMD amount upon request. But there are certain rules that the IRA custodian is allowed to use that could result in an incorrect RMD calculation. For instance, if the IRA owner is eligible to use the joint life expectancy table, the IRS says the custodian can ignore that and use the uniform lifetime table. Also, if there's an outstanding transaction, someone took a distribution last year, rolled it over this year, that's not included in the fair market value, which would result in an RMD shortfall. In that case, then we're going to have to do a manual refiguring of the RMD. Rule number 4, avoid ineligible rollovers of RMDs. I can tell you, as the Jamaican expression goes, I can put my pot on fire and know I'm going to get a call about someone who says, hey, I got a notice from my former employer telling me that my rollover from my 401k to my IRA includes my RMD. And then in that case, we're going to have to work to fix it as a return of excess contribution by tax filing due date plus extension. Otherwise, the amount could be subject to a 6% excise tax for every year it remains in the account. Rule number 5, there are limited options for aggregating RMDs. Yes, it's true that if you have multiple retirement accounts, you can calculate the RMD separately and take it from one or more of those accounts. But you can only do that in limited circumstances. For instance, if you have multiple traditional SEPs and simples, those can be aggregated. Multiple 403Bs, those can be aggregated. You cannot aggregate between different employers' qualified retirement plans. So be careful of that, because if you misapply the RMD aggregation rule, then the accounts that are not eligible for aggregation and you didn't take an RMD from those, then you would have an RMD shortfall. So that's my top 5 in less than 5 minutes. If you have questions about RMDs, I do provide consultations to financial, tax, and legal professionals. And if you want to bring me in to do training for your staff to get them ready for this RMD season, then please contact me. Thank you, and that's less than 5 minutes.